For the second straight year, another brutal early season loss at home for the Bearcats. Mike Petralia inside Nippert Stadium here Saturday. The Bearcats built a 27-6 late third quarter lead, only to lose in the closing seconds to the Pitt Panthers 28-27. The Bearcats really started off this game very hot, very much in the way they won last week against Towson, winning 38-20, building up a big lead early on and then cruising to victory. It looked like the same formula here again on Saturday afternoon. Brendan Sorsby with a terrific first half, a couple of touchdown passes, including a 52-yard beauty down the right sideline to Jamoy Mays, and that was 52 yards. That put the Bearcats on the board by a score of 7-0. Bearcats would go up 17-3 and looked like they were going to go up 20-3 in the closing seconds of the first half, but Carter Brown missed a 25-yard field goal. The laces were pointed in, and the technique, according to head coach Scott Satterfield, from the whole unit was just off by a hair, and that made a difference. They missed the field goal. But the kicker, no pun intended, to that whole missed opportunity at the end of the first half was Pitt was able to capitalize and go down the field. The Bearcats thought time had run out, but no, the officials put a second back on the clock and allowed the Pitt Panthers to kick a 53-yard field goal just before halftime. Instead of a 20-3 halftime lead, the Bearcats only led 17-6. But everything looked good early in the third quarter as the Bearcats got a defensive stop to start the second half. They went down the field. Brendan Sorsby with his third touchdown of the game. That made it 24-6. They added a field goal from Carter Brown, 27-6. with just over 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, and it looked like the Bearcats were in cruise control to 2-0 and a meeting next week with the Miami Redhawks in the Victory Bell game. Not so fast. Bearcats defense ran out of gas. They gave up 3 touchdowns late, but managed, because of an Eric Phillips sack of the Pitt quarterback, they were able to hold off the 2-point conversion, led 27-25. Bearcats could not move the ball at all in the fourth quarter. They didn't have a single point, and that came back to haunt them as the Bearcats had the Pitt Panthers 4th and 4 on their own 26-yard line, and it looked like the Bearcats were about to get off the field, but before the snap, it was Cameron Wilson getting called for mimicking the snap count, a delay of game called on the defense. Instead of 4th and 4, it was 1st and 10 for the Pitt Panthers. A couple of plays later, the Panthers were in field goal range, and then a 35-yard field goal clinched the deal by Ben Sauls with 17 seconds to go, and that gave Pitt a 28-27 lead, and the Bearcats could do nothing more with it. Instead of a 2-0 start, the Bearcats have a horrible loss and are now 1-1 going into the game last year that really kick-started their nosedive. They're to 3-9 on the season. The Miami Redhawks, of course, won in overtime on this very field, 31-24 last year. After the game, Scott Satterfield was not too thrilled with the officiating toward the end of the game, did not understand the call on Cameron Wilson that led to the delay of game. He also thought the officiating at the end of the first half that gave Pitt an extra 3 points was also highly questionable, but also he knows that the Bearcats let their foot off the pedal. They didn't execute in all 3 phases of the game. And it was interesting because I asked Gavin Gearhart. He said there will be no poutiness like there was last year. There's a different element in the locker room. And I said, why do you feel that way? And Gearhart said, because we've learned a lot as a unit. There was a lot of positivity in the locker room, even after a game like this. He said, believe it or not, we are sticking together. We know we are a close group. But, of course, only time will tell. The other big highlight for the Bearcats in this game, the return of Dante Corleone. He had a couple of big run stops, including one on 3rd down that gave the Panthers 4th and 4 in the third quarter. But they began their comeback by converting that 4th and 4 pass for a 38-yard touchdown. And that began their comeback from 21 points down. They scored 22 unanswered points and win this game 28-17. 28-27. We'll have complete coverage on our YouTube channel, Cincy Sports Studio at youtube.com. Be sure to check out all the post-game reaction over there. Of course, follow my reaction on the X at Trags, TRAGS. And of course, Cincy sports fans are looking forward to the Bengals season opener Sunday afternoon at Paycor Stadium against New England Patriots. We'll have you covered on clnscincy.com all day long. Be sure to follow the Jungle Roar Pod on youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod for all of your Bengals season opening coverage. Final again inside Nippert Stadium this afternoon. It was the Pitt Panthers 28 and the Bearcats 27. Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.